Okay, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for attending our reorganization meeting tonight. I am Supervisor John Birmingham, along with soon-to-be Supervisor-elect Corey Ekman, Supervisor Dave Cleveland, soon-to-be Supervisor-elect Jason Albert, and Bethel Township Manager Nick Graziano, and Township Secretary Cindy Beck on the far right. So thank you, and Happy New Year, and Happy 2024. At this time, we need to appoint a recording secretary, and this is also secretary for the Board of Supervisors and the Planning Commission for 2024. Do we have a motion on the floor for appointing the recording secretary? We have make a motion to consider that. Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Let's do the oath of office. Corey Ekman, you have to go first, and do the oath. I'll turn it over to our Township Secretary, Cindy Beck. So Cindy, take it away.
Well, this is just basically their oath of office to welcome them as newly elected township supervisors. So this is, Corey will go ahead and read hers.
I, Corey Ekman, residing at 1108 Potomac Street, Mount Bethel, Pennsylvania, being duly elected or appointed supervisor of Upper Mount Bethel Township in Northampton County, Pennsylvania, do solemnly swear that I support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution and laws of the Commonwealth, that I will perform the duties of my appointment with fidelity, that I will not knowingly receive directly or indirectly any money or other valuable thing or things for the performance or non-performance of any act or duty pertaining to my appointment, other than the compensation allowed by law.
She will sign that in front of me, and I will notarize it.
Congratulations to Corey Ekman. Turn it over to Jason Albert, and so I'm sorry, I jumped in.
Hi, Jason Albert, residing at 371 Mount Bethel Highway, Bangor, Pennsylvania, being duly elected or appointed supervisor of Upper Mount Bethel Township in Northampton County, Pennsylvania, do solemnly swear that I support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution and laws of the Commonwealth, that I will perform the duties of my appointment with fidelity, that I will not knowingly receive, directly or indirectly, any money or other valuable thing or things for the performance or non-performance of any act or duty pertaining to my appointment, other than the compensation allowed by law.
Congratulations to Supervisor Jason. Now, I just want to, again, let's go back and appoint the recording secretary again, since now we're officially supervisors. I just want to make sure that there's no discrepancy here. So let's just get a motion again for appointing recording secretary for the Board of Supervisors and the Planning Commission.
I make a motion to appoint Cindy Buck for recording secretary for supervisors and the planning commission.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, now we have a 4-0. Okay, we need to appoint a temporary chairman. Do we have a motion to appoint a temporary chairman?
I make a motion to appoint Nick Olson as temporary chairman.
I'll second it. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, Nick?
Yes, sir.
There you go. You are a temporary chairman.
So we have to pick a chair, right?
Yeah.
You want me to bang that?
No, you don't get it.
All right, we have to the Board of Supervisors to nominate chairman of the board. Mr. Temporary Chairman nominates Tom Birmingham as chairman of the Board of Supervisors.
You want a second?
I'll second.
Jason Albert? Any discussion? No discussion? Chairman, John Birmingham?
You can take the vote.
Did you call for the vote?
You gotta call for the vote.
You said let's call for the vote.
Aye.
Okay, thank you guys. I'm honored to be chairperson, chairman of the Board of Supervisors of Upper Mount Bethel Township, and I will take this a little seriously, and I'm humbled with your trust, so thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. We'll go on, and we need to appoint a vice chairman. Do we have a motion to appoint a vice chairman?
I make a motion for Dave Friedman.
Okay, I'll second it. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, David Friedman is vice chairman. Thank you, David. Appoint secretary. I'd like to nominate Corey Evans, secretary.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Corey, thank you for being secretary. And then now we have to appoint the treasurer and secretary.
And I'd like to appoint, nominate Jason Albert as treasurer and secretary, $2 million, I believe it was. The $2 million.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Okay, thank you, Jason. Okay, we're now going to open it up for public comment. You can see that public comment is here. What's that? Oh, I've got public comment. Do you guys have public comment on your agenda? Okay. So we have public comment coming up now, and then we're also going to have public comment under Part 5 of the agenda, and that's how we're going to do it moving forward at town meetings. The first public comment, you can come up and comment about anything on the agenda that night, and then the second public comment will be about anything that you want to make a comment about. Did we decide minutes? Do we have any idea on how long? Right now, public comments are 3 minutes. We want to go to 4 minutes?
I would think 4 minutes would be appropriate. Some people are long-winded and just,
Okay, we'll try. Mark Metzger, you get 2 minutes. Everybody else get... We'll do public comment at 4 minutes. And with public comment, we will also entertain questions. So if you have questions, we'll kind of do it on depending on how many people are coming up and making comments. If we have a lot of comments, we may have to shorten the questions. We'll kind of have to do it on an ad hoc basis. But with public comment, you can come up and ask questions.
and, this is up to you folks, you got the opportunity to use it, don't use it.
Okay, so that being said, at this time, does anybody want to come up and make a public comment? You just come up to the podium, give us your name and address, and the floor is yours.
Judith Frankel, 1752 Wallingwood Road, and I just want to start off with saying thank you. What a fantastic change. And I just hope all the residents who go before you are going to stand behind you and volunteer help. Thank you.
Thank you, Gene.
Is that mic on?
Hey, Mark, can you test the microphone real quick?
Yeah,
for us,
I don't
please?
think it was turned on.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Sounds like
It's on. Maybe you should just point it a little more directly. It was very low. That's fine.
my comment. Mark Metzger, 114 Senior Court. What Judy said, ditto.
But when you talk, make sure you're talking to the mic, because the people at home can't hear you if you don't talk into the microphone.
Yeah, come on up, Richard.
Richard Wilford Hunt, 2012 City Lane. Thank you, Corey, and thank you, Jason, for taking these seats. And thank you, John, and thank you, David, for continuing to listen to the residents of Upper Mount Bethel, our concerns. And you've got some tough decisions. We have some tough decisions coming up. I'm hoping that the developer will now start to work with us and come up with something more sustainable and that is more in character with the township rural character. So again, thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Michael Einubach, 43 Summerfield Drive, Mount Bethel. 2 comments. One is, John, you didn't ask Cindy if she wanted the position.
Yeah, we kind of did, we pushed the vote through, we kind of just,
The other thing is, same thing, congratulations to Jason and Corey. Good luck, because we need you to stand with us, which you have been, and letting the developer know he's not running over this town anymore. Thanks.
thank you, Mike. And I will say this, the township building will, on the night that we're having meetings, will be open as soon as someone arrives here with the key. We are not keeping the door locked until 7 p.m. This is your building. This is not our building. This is not my building. It's the people's building. So as soon as we open it, it's open and there's no more standing outside. Charlie, go ahead.
Charles Cole, 6 Riverton Road. I see 4 of you. I congratulate you and ask you to service for the next years, but I see there's only 4 of you. Could you give us an idea when a replacement will be named for David Friedman?
David David
David Friedman wants to make a public statement at this time. I'll just, clarify on the, if I may, on the movie supervisor. Okay. The effective date, there are 2 things you got to consider. You have to consider the letter that was submitted and the day of the vote that we voted not to accept his retirement. The day of the vote we accepted not to retirement, 45 days from that date is called the effective date. Mr. Dew would have been able to come in and say, all right, I'm not going to retire, I'm going to fill out my term. But after the 45 days, which I believe is the first week in January, then the board has 30 days to find a supervisor to fill the slot. So on January the 8th at our meeting, if we wanted to, we could appoint a supervisor at that time. But we have 2 candidates, all the members want to talk to them better than everything else. And so hopefully by January the 8th, we'll have a candidate for supervisor who we can appoint at that time. And he will be filling out Mr. Dew's the rest of his term, which I believe is 2 years to the end of 25. Then the next election, somebody can run again, because we don't know election process for a supervisor. Hope that answers everybody's questions.
Is he technically a supervisor still?
Yes, he is.
Sir, what's your name? John Clean. L-E-N-A, 2234 Ridge Road.
John, you want to come up with your question? Just so the people at home can hear it as well.
I'm just... John Kalina, 2234 Ridge Road. I'm just curious if David Dew is still technically a supervisor as of until the 45 days run out.
Yes, he is.
Then you accept his letter, and then you look for it.
No, we had 2 options when he submitted his letter. Either we could accept his resignation and retirement, or not accept his retirement. If we would have accepted his retirement, the current board would have had 30 days to appoint a new supervisor. When we chose not to accept his retirement, the timeline came in, called the effective date, and after 45 days, if he doesn't submit his letter, want to be reinstated, then the board will have 30 days after that. But Mr. Dew is, for all intents and purposes, still a supervisor.
Thank you, John. I do not know. Yeah, Fran, just 1 second. Come on up. But I just wanted to say a big thank you to Lee McDonald, who's doing the live streaming tonight. Lee, thank you so much for all your efforts.
Sure.
Okay, Fran.
Francis Fitzcarroll, 3001 North Delaware Drive, North Bethel, PA. I just want to thank all four of you for all the work you have done through the years to get to this point. It's been a long run, and I just need to point out that there will be times when you supervisors are going to have to vote yes when you don't want to vote no, but it's the law, you know what I mean? You know, things happen and there's no way you can vote no, you can maybe abstain, but I don't think so. I mean, the people of the town have to understand that too. It's not all be a no, 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 no. I just don't want people getting mad because you voted yes, you have to, without them understanding that sometimes that's what happens.
Well, I think it's a good point, and I think it's up to us as supervisors to communicate with the people. Hey, here's why we voted yes. You know, here's why we believe we had to vote yes. And I think it's all about communication. I think it starts with office hours. I think it starts with social media presence, emails, phone calls. As long as we can communicate with the people, then the people will be informed. When you make decisions and you don't tell the people why, that's where the rumors and assumptions come in. But great point, Fran.
Yeah. Great. I'm glad you're here.
Thanks. Anyone else for public comment? Okay, let's move on. Part 3 appointments. We have appoint township manager, assistant treasurer. We have to set on and talk about the benefits package. So let's first look for a motion to appoint township manager / assistant treasurer.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Nick Rosiano as manager, assistant manager, and set the bond at $2 million.
Or township manager, assistant treasurer.
Assistant treasurer, I'm sorry, assistant treasurer, set the bond. And his contract is here on May. He agrees to no pension or health benefits plan, holiday pay for the following holidays: New Year's Day, Good Friday, Memorial Day, July 4th, Labor Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving Day, and the day after Thanksgiving and Christmas Day. 5 personal days, 2 weeks vacation, and 5 sick days. And then he agrees to this salary position, and then no overtime will be provided. Those are the stipulations for his hire.
Just a question, Cindy. For our last township manager, did he have an actual employment agreement that listed all these, or no?
I think the last time we had one was with
With Rick?
yeah.
Okay. I think you can go on with your motion the way you have it, but I think we should talk to Karasak about whether we should have an agreement with our township manager or not.
I think we should. I mean, if there's any contractual disputes, I mean, you have to have something to fall back on.
Yeah, well, it protects us, but it also protects him. It protects the township manager if we ever violate any terms of the agreement. So I think go ahead and make your motion as is, and then we'll talk to our solicitor about an upcoming agreement.
Now to make that motion, then that's stipulated by the chair, that we can have a written agreement as to Mr. Graziano's contract.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Okay, Nick, congrats, thank you. Thank you, John, thank you. Next up, we have appoint tax collector.
I make a motion to appoint Cindy Beck as tax collector.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Cindy, congratulations and thank you. Okay, next up, appoint auditor for the 2023 audit.
make a motion to appoint Kirk Suma and Company. I believe they're the same as doing the 22 audit.
That's correct.
And we'll be falling right into that, and after they finish the 22 audit, which is still in progress.
Sorry, what was the name?
Of the audit.
Kirk Suma and Company, LLP.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 4-0. Next up is appoint administration office liaison. I'll go ahead and make a motion that we appoint David Friedman as administration office liaison.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, David, you are office liaison, 4-0. Next up is road department liaison.
I'll make the motion for Dave Friedman.
Okay, I'll second it. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, David, thank you for doing road. Not for now. We're not asking if anybody wants to be a liaison. We're just voting you in. So you're gonna do it whether you like it or not. We're not on it. Now, if anybody has an issue with any of these appointments, just let me know, or let us know. Okay. Board of Supervisor Solicitor. Do we have a motion for the solicitor?
I make a motion to have Ronald Parasat for Board of Supervisor Solicitor.
Okay, and in his letter, I think he kept his rate the same?
Yeah.
So why don't you include that in the motion?
And to pay in the same rate as he had last year. That was pointed out in his letter of interest. 135 per hour, and the meeting was
Per meeting is 370.
375 per meeting.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Was the only applicant.
He was the only applicant.
That's correct. Okay, all those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Lee, there's just one comment from an attendee. They want to know if you can turn on subtitles or closed captioning for the meeting.
We chose that at the beginning not to. I'm not sure if you can go back now.
Okay.
I'll check.
Okay, thanks, Lee. And I'll try and remember not to get so close to it. But any feedback from the live stream that you can provide, please do. Cindy, are you watching the live stream?
No, I'm just.
All right, I'm trying to watch the live stream, so, or shoot me a message in Facebook if you're watching the live stream and there's an issue. Okay, next up we have the Planning Commission. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm skipping ahead. Alternate Board of Supervisors Solicitor. Do we have a motion on the floor?
I'll make a motion to appoint Chris Spadoni as alternate Board of Supervisor Solicitor, and his rates will be the same as the solicitors.
Okay, I'll second the motion. Okay, do we have any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next up we have the Planning Commission Solicitor.
That seat is open, and I suppose we can keep the slot open and keep trying to get somebody to fill that position. So as of now, no one has submitted a letter of interest for alternate planning commission solicitor.
This is the regular plan.
Oh, I'm sorry. And that was one from our past, all right, I'm nominating one of Paris as planning commission solicitor.
His letter of interest indicated that, and, okay. And, is it the same rate?
Yes.
Okay. We can include that.
With the same rate as stipulated in his letter of interest and the same rate as he was getting as Board of Supervisor solicitor.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Okay. Alternate planning commission solicitor.
And as I previously stated, Mr. Chairman, that position is still open.
Okay. So you want to keep that open, and Cindy, maybe keep that on our list?
Yeah, just table it, then, if you want, just table it.
All right, then I'll make a motion that we table the appointment of the alternate planning commission solicitor since no one has shown interest or submitted a letter of interest.
Okay, I'll second it. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Okay, next up is engineer. I'll go ahead and make a motion that we go with Carroll Engineering and continue with our current engineer, Justin Coyle, who I believe, and I'm sure there's no disagreement from any of the supervisors sitting up here tonight, that Justin is doing a fabulous job. So I'm proud to make a motion to appoint Carroll Engineering and Justin Coyle as Township Engineer.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those, good call. Same rates. Did he ask for an increase, do you know, Cindy?
His rates are in with your packet, because it's all different, they're all different rates, so they are in there. You want to put
As per his letter of interest.
rate, let me see. Let's see.
Yes.
That's the point.
And you know, be advised that this is the firm's rates that they charge as a firm for certain professional services.
Do you have what his rate was last year, Cindy? Okay. I think the rates are reasonable. He's got $140 an hour for Justin. And that's the highest. Our two-man survey crew is 178. Does anybody have any issues with these hourly rates?
No.
And we'll have copies of these letters of interest if anybody wants to come up and see them during public comment or after the meeting tonight. So I'll go ahead and amend my motion that we appoint Justin Coyle of Carroll Engineering as our engineer per his rate schedule as detailed in his October 26, 2023 letter of interest to Upper Mount Bethel Township.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Next up is flood plain administrator. Do we have a motion or appointment? Okay, I'll go ahead and Make a motion that we appoint Justin Coyle as floodplain administrator. Yeah, with the same rates in his letter of interest, October 26, 2023, to Upper Mount Bethel Township. I'll second. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. 4-0. Okay, alternate engineer. Do we have a motion to appoint someone as alternate engineer?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept Bob Flora as our alternate.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
With his rate, 100 per hour.
With his rate, yeah.
Sorry, what was the last name?
Robert Flora.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Zoning Building SEO Liaison. We have a motion to appoint someone as Zoning Building SEO Liaison.
I'll nominate Jason Albert.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Next up is Zoning Codes Officer.
I'll nominate Tina Searfoss at a rate of 65 an hour.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Alternate Zoning Codes Officer. Does anyone have a motion for this position?
Darius and Associates. I'm looking.
Oh, the rates.
Continuation of our 2023 rates for 2024. What the 2023 rate is, I don't know.
Okay.
Well, then you can just keep it at the 2023 rate then.
Who's the alternate? Who do we appoint? We don't have one. Okay. You could appoint Barry Isley with the rate to be negotiated.
It says his rate, alternate building code official. Oh, okay, we didn't have any to fill that slot. And you'll have to leave that position open for now.
Okay. You want to make a motion to table?
I'll make a motion to table the alternate zoning codes enforcement officer.
Okay, and you're tracking this all down, right, Cindy? You keeping track of all this? Thanks. Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor of tabling this position, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 17.
I'm sorry?
Item 17 for us. On list, item 17.
We did do 17, right? Oh, I have a different. I have alternate zoning codes.
That's 14. 15. Yeah, 15.
Correct. Correct. Okay, so let's move on. Building codes official. I have 16. Is everybody, are we on the same page with everything? These seem to be differently done. Okay, do we have, a motion to appoint someone building codes official?
I nominate for Tina Zibble.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second that. That's the rate of 65 an hour.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Next up is alternate building codes official.
This is where Barry Isaac was for last year.
Correct. Do we have a motion to appoint an alternate building codes official?
I'll make that motion for Barry Isaac.
Do we have a second?
At the 2023 bid?
Okay.
23, continuing to 24.
Mm-hmm. I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Zoning hearing board solicitor rate. Oh, okay, that's a good idea.
All right, I make a motion to table the zoning hearing board solicitor rate.
When's the next zoning hearing board? Okay. So we have to put it on for the last Monday in January, right? Going to, yeah.
Well, I thought we had, when we sent out letters of interest, we stipulated what the rate was going to be for the zoning hearing board. We set the rate for the zoning hearing board.
And you set the rate, they tell us what the rate is. We just don't feel the
I'm looking at it.
Yes. Okay, it's been seconded to table.
Yeah, I made a motion to table.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Okay, appoint one zoning hearing board member.
I make a motion that we nominate Tony Raga.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, all those voting on the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, we have a 3-1. Jason said no.
What's the last name?
Reagan.
One alternate zoning hearing board member.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to eliminate that position since we already have 3 alternates. And one alternate would be moving up as a member. I think two alternates would be planning for the zoning hearing board.
Okay, so the motion is to eliminate an alternate.
For the zoning hearing board, yes.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Okay, next up is third-party inspection service. And Lee, just one other comment. Are you able to turn comments on at all from the people at home, or is that-
Initially, we didn't set them, no.
No, okay, so,
That all gets set at the start.
what, I'm sorry?
It gets set at the start.
Okay, so I apologize for those at home. If you do have comments, you can try and message me, and I'll try to get to any comments under the public comment period and comments, but we'll work on this. Again, Lee was called in last minute. You're doing a heck of a job. We appreciate what you're doing, and we'll work on this, so thank you. Okay, third-party inspection service. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion we stay with Kelly, John. Three. Barry Islip, and then he goes and stuff.
Okay.
So all three.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Sewage enforcement officer. Do we have a motion?
I have a motion for Scott Ballfield.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it at the current rate of $75 an hour.
Okay, does your motion reflect that, Corey?
Yeah.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Next up is vacancy board chairman. I'm sorry. Alternate SEO. See, I think that I'm going for glasses tomorrow. I think that's new glasses. Alternate SEO.
Make a motion that we accept Robert Flora as our alternate SEO.
Okay, I'll second it. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Motion. I'm sorry? All three. Oh, rate, sorry. Maybe I'll get my hearing checked after I get glasses.
It's on.
Yeah, $100 is the rate. Sorry about that. Next up, vacancy board chairman.
I'll nominate Mark Metzger.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Open Space Advisory Board Liaison. I'll go ahead and make a motion for Jason Albert to be the Open Space Advisory Board Liaison.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Okay, we've only got about 175 more appointments to go, so everybody just hang tight now. We're almost done. Next up is 3 Open Space Advisory Board members. 3 letters of interest were submitted from Janet Pearson, Jason Albert, and Nick Graziano.
I'll make a motion to accept all 3.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Motion carries. And if Janet is listening at home, you thought you were getting out of it, you're not getting out of it yet. Next up is Parks Recreation Liaison.
I nominate Corey.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Thank you, Corey.
John?
Yes.
Comments are on.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so for those of you at home watching the live feed, the comments are now working. So you can go ahead and feel free to comment away. Thank you, Lee. Okay, next up we have one Park Recreation Committee member that we need to nominate. One letter of interest from Sharon Kearney, and I'll go ahead and nominate her as a Park Rec member.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Can I give you one more update? The captions are on also.
Lee, you are MVP. The captions are working as well, so thank you, Lee. Why don't we start over? We'll go back to the beginning.
It's a learning curve.
It is, for all of us. No, but that's great. Thanks, Lee. Okay, next up is Economic Development Committee Liaison. Oh, okay, so I see, yeah, yes. Oh, this is for the liaison, and then we'll get to that. So, is there anyone who wants to be the EDC liaison?
And maybe the new member supervisor will be appointed to that.
Motion on the table this until the week.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. So new supervisor, new EDC liaison. Now up is nominating two members for the Economic Development Committee. There was one letter of interest, there was two open seats. Anybody here want to be on the Economic Development Committee, raise your hand. If you want to think about it, come back, reach out to Cindy. We have Bill Hall for one open seat on the EDC.
And I make a motion for Mr. Hall to be nominated for EDC vacancy.
I'll go ahead and second it. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Next up is Emergency Services Liaison.
I'll make a motion for John Birmingham.
I'll second.
Okay. And I would say also, maybe Corey, if you could amend the motion to also have Jason be part of the emergency liaison, like if I can't make a meeting, or if I need to run something by someone who has firefighting experience, that Jason be sort of or co-liaison.
Okay, so I'll amend it for John Birmingham and Dick County.
I'll second the amended motion.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Next up is attendance for the PSATS convention. And I'll go ahead and nominate David Friedman and Nick Graziano. If you guys are both okay with that.
Yeah, we'll be.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next up is PSAT's voting delegate. I'll go ahead and nominate David Freeman.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Motion carries. We need to appoint a member for the Friends of Lake Mincy.
John, should we make a motion to table this?
So we get some applicants.
We don't have any letters of interest.
No.
Yeah, go ahead and make the motion.
I'll make a motion to table this for, is it eight far enough out, or should we go?
I'll just keep it open until a letter of interest is submitted.
So I'll make a motion to get letters for the members of the Friends of Lake Mincy.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
And we didn't have any letters of interest for the alternate member, Friends of Lake Mincy, so I'll go ahead and make a motion that we table that position as well.
I'll second.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Okay, next up, we're just about done here. Member of the Plan Slate Belt.
I'll make a motion for Dave Freeman.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? David, you willing to serve?
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Yeah, that's the first time I asked David if he was willing to serve. Everything else he mustn't serve. Next up is alternate member of the Planning Slate Board.
I nominate Judy Hampton.
Okay, I'll second that. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Recycling coordinator. Recycling coordinator. If anybody's interested, raise your hand. But don't raise all at once.
I nominate Nick.
I second that. I second it. Nick, you okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Nick. Open Records Officer.
I nominate Cindy Bell.
I'll second that. Any discussion? Cindy, you sweating over there.
It's a condition of employment.
Cindy, do you want the position?
And there are going to be changes for right to know. So we're going to try to streamline it and make it a lot easier. That if a document is readily available, then you can get it out, copy and give it to you. You might have to go through the forms, the 5-day period, the 30-day period. We're going to try to streamline and make it as easy as possible. Just to get it. And, and we just ask for your cooperation. You might have to wait a little bit if we can get the time to get it to you. But if we eliminate that form and the waiting times, we'll make it a lot easier for everybody because there isn't anything here that should be hidden from everybody. So.
Yeah, that's a culture we're going to set here. It's transparency. It's working for you, the people, and not against you, the people. So we're changing the culture here. You shouldn't have to do the right to know for every little thing. We'll have to figure it out as we go. But as you all know, Cindy, she's pleasant, she's easy to work with. It's going to be a lot different than the way it's been done in the past.
And you have to realize that when you submit, there are some stipulations that we can't give you stuff. If things are negotiations or something else that's being worked on. And, we just hope you realize that and kind of work with us. And that once it is, able to give it to you, if you remind Cindy or something else, then we can get it to you. But we can't get everything out all the time. I think most of you know that, so.
Okay. Yes, John?
I had a question, are you gonna pick favorites, or are you gonna?
I can't hear you back. I can't hear you at all.
John, you'll have to come up, I'm sorry.
I'm just curious if, anybody's gonna get treated special, are you gonna pick any favorites? Take care of who you want to take care of? Or let everybody else wait, or?
You mean for someone who does the right to know or something?
Yes.
No, it's gotta be treated fair and square across the board.
I like change, thank you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, if if Mark comes up and says, I need this, and John comes back 2 weeks later and says, I need the same thing, and now he's gotta do a right to know request, then we're not doing our job. So, people in similar situations with similar requests have to be treated similarly. So that's the way it is.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Alternate open records officer. Did I miss something? No. What's that? Yeah. Cindy, we voted on, yeah, and you accept the position. You accept the open record. Okay, now we need an alternate open records officer.
I would like to nominate Nick.
I'll second that.
Nick, do you accept the position?
Yes, I do, John.
Okay. Thank you.
He's gonna wanna raise people tonight, so.
Nick's gonna have about 14 different business cards. It's my open record, alternate open records, township manager, recycling coordinator.
All right, I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I think that I've gotten to all the appointments. Is that correct, Cindy?
Yep.
Okay, that's all the appointments for the year, so thank you everyone who is willing to serve in those positions. If anybody has an issue or can't do it, even though we voted you in, because I forgot to ask you beforehand, just let me know and we're happy to work with you. Okay, we've got to set the IRS mileage reimbursement rate. Sorry, I'm looking at the other agenda. I have a cheat sheet and was looking at that. So, designation of depositories.
I make a motion that we appoint Fidelity Bank, Morgan Stanley, and Embassy Bank for the depositories.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We've got to establish a regular monthly meeting location, date, and time. Currently, our meetings are on the second Monday of the month at 7 p.m. We also have our monthly work sessions on the fourth Monday of the month at 7 p.m. So let's do number 42 first. When do we want our regular monthly meetings? Location, date, and time.
I'll make a motion to keep them the same as we have first. So the second Monday at 7 p.m. at the Township Municipal Building.
I'll second that.
Okay, just a discussion. I'll go with the motion. Just to let you know, we have talked to the Mount Bethel Fire Department, or I have, about meetings in which we know there's going to be a big turnout. We do them over at the firehouse. I've also talked to them to see if we want to do all our meetings over there, or if we want to keep them here. We can always, they've got to talk about it at their next fire department meeting, which is the 8th. So they will come back and let us know. So it's something just to consider for the future, however the supervisors want to go about doing that. But at this time, the motion is for monthly meetings, regular monthly meetings on the second Monday of each month at 7 p.m. at the township building. That's the motion.
I better amend that, or for the fire company.
You can amend that because we don't know yet, so it's either one or the other.
Right, then I'll make that, amend that motion, either here or the fire company.
Okay, and Corey, do you second that?
I second that.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Next up is establish monthly work session, meeting, location, date, and time.
Make a motion that be the fourth Monday at 7 p.m., either at the Township Municipal Building or the Upper Mount Bethel Fire Company.
Okay, I'll second that. Any discussion?
John, will these also be voting?
Let's get to that.
We got exactly what we're doing.
Good, that's a good question. Okay, so I second the monthly work session, which is the fourth Monday at 7 p.m. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now, Corey, you wanted to discuss whether...
Yeah, it's on the action, that's on the action. I didn't realize.
Go back to the other.
That's what it is.
Okay, then let's just bring that up for you. Okay. We'll get to your point, Corey, shortly. Yeah, that's about voting. We're going to talk about it a little farther down in the agenda. Number 44 is part-time, seasonal, non-union set pay.
I'll make a motion that the part-time employees, the rate would be $20.35 per hour for laborers and $23.70 per hour for CDL.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
How much was it? What was the second one? What was the
Uh,
second one?
Part-time employees pay, this is all for part-time seasonal non-union. Part-time employees at $20.35 for laborers and $23.70 per hour for CDL.
Okay, all those in, John, yeah. Can they be non-union and drive the truck? Is the question. Yes, is the answer. Good. All those in favor, any other discussion
On the board.
All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Okay, set part-time building janitorial pay.
I'll make the motion to set the pay for building at $18.90 per hour.
Okay, that's $18.90 per hour. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Set IRS millage reimbursement rate.
Mr. Chair, I believe that is now 67 cents a mile.
That's your motion.
That's my motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Appoint emergency management positions.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that Lynn Nancy be Public Information Officer, Lynn Nancy be Communications Warning Officer.
Wrong.
No? Emergency management.
Number 47.
Management coordinator. The positions, he's a coordinator and the staff. All right, I will amend my motion. Listing Nancy be Emergency Management Coordinator, and Bill Ways be Deputy Emergency Management Coordinator.
I'll second.
47. You got that, John? Okay. Was that seconded?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 48 is appoint emergency notification list.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that for the emergency notification list, all supervisors be notified, the township manager, all township office staff, and the road foreman.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Appoint emergency management staff.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Lynn Nancy as Public Information Officer, Lynn Nancy as Communications Warning Officer, Bill Williams as Deputy Communications Warning Officer, Lynn Nancy as Logistics Liaison, Bill Williams as Fire Rescue Officer, and Joe Cotillo as our Police Services Officer.
Is that the same appointments as last year? Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? John, did you have a question?
Well, I had a question. Is that something you might want a third to volunteer for that, or make sure we have all the bases covered?
A third volunteer for,
Emergency management staff.
so the question was, should we have a third volunteer for emergency management staff? I'd say let us talk about it, let it think about it, but we've got a motion on the floor, so let's vote for this now. But thank you, John. It's a good point. Okay, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Now we're moving on to the action agenda. Cindy, do you have the actual agenda? The second public comment is? Okay, so we've got the action agenda where we're going to do the police pension, the fund administrator, the all voting meetings, and then we'll open it up for public comment, and public comment can be on anything at this point. Okay, so let's move on to the action agenda. Police pension resolution 2024-01, our first resolution of the year. We need a motion to adopt this resolution. And David, if you want to make the motion and read the resolution.
I make a motion that we adopt resolution 2024-01, police pension, to be stated, whereas the municipal pension plan handbook for boroughs, towns, and townships dated April 1st, 1986, page 36, mandates the following. Municipal contributions are required through annual appropriations if the Commonwealth and officers' contributions are not sufficient to meet the needed annual contribution as determined by an actuary. Now, therefore, be it and as hereby resolved, the Board of Supervisors of Bethel Township, of Hampton County, and Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Section 10, that the 2 3/4% contribution from individual police officers to the police pension fund is hereby waived for the 12 months period beginning January 1st, 2024. This resolution being duly presented by motion and duly seconded is adopted by the Board of Supervisors reorganization meeting held on the 2nd day of January 2024, to be signed by the Secretary and the Chairman.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to adopt resolution 2024-01. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of resolution 2024-01 say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next up is Police Pension Fund Administrator.
Mr. Chairman, make the motion to make Jason Albert the treasurer of the police fund administrator.
Basically, this position is usually held by the treasurer of Upper Mount Bethel Township. So that being Jason, David nominates him for Police Pension Fund Administrator. Do we have a second? I'll go ahead and second. Did you second it? Okay, I'll second it. I'll go ahead and second it. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Next up is whether we want to make all meetings, meaning regular meetings and workshop meetings, whether we want to make them all voting meetings for 2024. So I'll open it up for supervisor discussion.
I'll make a motion to make all meetings voting meetings.
I'll second that.
Opening it up for discussion, the reason we do this is we want to make every meeting a voting meeting, because if we didn't, we'd only be able to vote on things once a month. And we already know government moves slow, so we want to make sure that we're moving at a rapidly slow pace. And that's why, whatever that means. No, but it doesn't mean we have to vote on everything at every meeting, but it at least opens up the opportunity that if we need to have something on the agenda, we can vote on it and not just say we can only vote on things once a month. So it allows government to work faster.
And, Mr. Chair, I think we skipped over number 3 in our agenda, rules of meetings. I don't know if I'm allowed to go back and do this, but I
Well, let's
believe...
come back, we can come back to that. Let's vote, since we have this motion on the floor, it's been seconded. All those in favor of making all our meetings in 2024, all voting meetings, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're going to open it up for public comment again. Before we do that, we do have some ideas that we want to throw out there about our supervisor meetings. So David, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, Mr. President, rules of meetings, we're going to be using Robert's rules of meetings for our meetings. Not the parliamentary, that's true. But we never established a proper rules for our meetings, and that has to do with seconding motions and things like that. We will now be able to refer to Robert's rules if there's any questions. So I'd like to make a motion that we accept Robert's rules of meetings as the standard of have our meetings run.
Yeah, and Robert Rules of Order is a great book. It's good guidance on how to properly run meetings. So we can have further discussions, but I'll go ahead and second the motion.
Thank you.
Any discussion? Corey, Jason? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Public comment. John, come on up. And John, just speaking to the mic,
Sorry.
name and address, please.
John Kalina, 2234 Ridge Road, Bangor, PA. Just curious, like an example of how a Roberts meeting would run. Do you second votes?
It's just a normal thing it's like we've been doing tonight. We make a motion, second it, and then there's a process. If you don't want to give a vote, you have to rescind it, and whoever seconded it, it's just certain rules.
We'll take it back.
That to be finished yet. The other one is the parliamentary process, and that's very complicated, and that's what they use like Congress and the Senate and stuff, and that's just like what we do.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Richard, who's behind you raising your hand?
Tom.
Yeah, oh, come on up, Tom. Good. And then we'll do Judy and Richard.
I didn't notice, Tom Gilmore,
107 Morningside Drive.
Is the microphone on?
I believe so. Very well.
Okay, if you can't hear our resident at home on the live feed, just type it in the comment. But go ahead, Tom.
How does one submit a letter of intent? I saw that we didn't have someone from Friends of Lake Vinci, and I'd love to be part of that.
Just write a letter, say, I'm going to be appointed to Friends of Lake Vinci.
Awesome.
Doesn't have to be fancy, just name, address,
You know,
and attention.
I'm not that fancy. Thanks, guys.
Tom, do you have his email address?
I don't.
I will get it to one of you because you're reporting tonight.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
He's stated his interest. We can vote on it right now. I say while Tom has made up his mind, let's not give him a chance to go back on it.
This is how they got you on it, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it has been tabled. Cindy will put that on the 8th, please. Thank you, Tom.
Look, there's a lot of talent sitting out there, we get these positions, step up to the plate. We got 2 newbies here, so come on.
Go ahead.
Okay, while we're into all the business committees and everything in the township, I've thrown this out there for a few of you. I would like to see the Environmental Advisory Council be reinstated. The reason it was done away with was sort of somewhat lack of interest, but also the developer did not want the EAC to get the plans to review for the planning commission and have that out in the public. So I really think that it would be a big help for you in planning and all kinds of activities if we could get that board back together. And I would be willing to help in the beginning, but I want to step away, and there needs to be new people. And environmental, that's almost everything there is, but we need all kinds of ideas, and we need everybody coming in here and doing all kinds of stuff. So think about it.
Have you spoken to anyone? Has anyone expressed interest at this point?
I have one other person really interested, but with the holidays and everything else, I really didn't get into it.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I think we can definitely talk about it.
But, I would like to have 5 members ready to meet.
Right.
Not an easy no, I've got 2 members or 3 members.
that's
But
what I was
with-
told. They've got to be ready to hit the ground and
Right.
get working. Yeah. Okay, and I will be talking to Cindy then to look at our ordinance that was done in 1999, 2000, before we had all this computer stuff, so I can't find the hard copy. And then I'll get something out there to let people know. The other thing I've come across in things is not everybody has a computer. I mean, it seems like not, but it's the thing we've all dealt with is how do we get in touch with people? We can't afford to snail mail things out. It's just something, how do we, word of mouth? And that's where I thought the EAC could be doing different projects, different things at different times. Take hikes, walks, have programs with all these different people in the community that are so knowledgeable. But we need to start spreading the word and getting people to feel like we're a community. And so I'm going back to saying you guys have done a fantastic job so far. So thank you.
Is that a hand raised by Courtney in the back? Look at that, we're already getting interest expressed.
On Judy was saying about getting the word out, can we use the fire company board, like we did for the taxi amendment?
That's up to them.
Yeah,
We would have to ask.
we can use the township Facebook page, the township website.
Well, she said the computers, people
Yeah,
drive
yeah.
by 611 all the time.
Yeah, good point. We'll have to think. We'll have to think of creative ways. Go ahead, Richard.
All right, thank you again. Richard Wolford, 2012 Cedar Lane. John, you touched on this about open and transparent government. Thank you. I think I see that in the future with this board. I do request you consider having some time between a public hearing and a vote. This past administration just jammed everything through without allowing the public any input really, or time for discussion or debate. So put in a little bit of space in between agenda item and when you need to vote, I very much appreciate that.
Keep us on our toes, Richard. Make sure we do it.
Will do.
Thank you. Yes, Mark. Mark, you have 2 minutes. I'm just teasing. Go ahead.
Mark Metzger, 114 City Court. Along with the Robert's Rules, I saw something in a courtroom meeting that I thought would be pretty neat, and you guys might want to take this under consideration as well. When they put a motion on the floor, of course, like through Robert's Rules, the motion gets seconded, then there's usually discussion among the table. Before they actually take the vote, they'll ask if there's any discussion from the floor. And that would be a good opportunity to get some real-time feedback as to what you guys are thinking about talking about.
Yeah, it's a great point, Mark. I've tried that. When I first started out as chairman, years ago, I'm open for trying it again. The only problem is if it was a controversial issue, it could go for like 2.5 hours.
For sure.
And maybe it should. Maybe that's a good point. I guess it'll be me trying to keep things moving, but I'm open to try. I think it's a good idea. So I think you guys have any comments about that? Or
Well, you really have that option. If that subject is on the agenda, you'll be able to comment even before the vote is taken.
But oftentimes, in real time, the dynamics of the situation change. There's many times I want to get up and scream into that microphone. No opportunity. So
Yeah.
what do I do on time?
I think he's close.
You got 1 minute and 30 seconds.
But then, it's going to be one of these things up to you people out there, use this. Don't abuse it. No screaming and yelling at there.
Well, I think you want the people here to be a participation in the meeting, okay? And how do you achieve it?
Thank you.
We're going to get you for a position next.
You got 30 seconds.
You want to get as much participation from the people out there as you can. And they want to get involved, and that's a good way to get them involved. The fact that you got 2 public comments is great. So I applaud that completely. I'm just thinking this is another neat way to get some immediate feedback, just to find out if your thoughts and your motion is resonating with the people right here.
Yeah, I think we've done that in the past sometimes. If there have been comments from the audience, we let people come up and, speak or go on with their expertise. We're not experts up there. We have, like I said, we've got a lot of talent sitting up there with a lot of knowledge.
But we're used to now going home and putting our thoughts down on a piece of paper, trying to figure out how we're going to get these all said in under 3 minutes. And I'm just saying that this is a way to really get participation from the folks right here.
Yeah, I say we give it a go. I'm all for it. Let's give it a try. See where it goes, because there's nothing worse in the audience or from sitting up here and looking at you in the audience and someone's raising their hand and they're not getting called on and then they go for a motion and it gets passed and the person in the audience is like, they never got a chance to be heard. That's not what this is about. It's about letting the people be heard. So Mark will give it a go. Like I told Richard, keep me on my toes. If I slip up or I don't allow or I forget about letting the people comment before we vote on a particular issue, we're here to work with you. We're not here to be against you. Judy.
Anybody can comment as long as they agree with me.
Regarding that, because the meeting could go on forever and forever, which I guess in the old days they used to. So before I became supervisor, one of the former supervisors had said to me, if you want to make a comment, just say, I would make a comment on item 5 or, whatever it is, so that you sit down in the beginning, but when that item comes up, and basically I think a lot of times there's something on the agenda, we have no idea what it even is until you all start talking. And in the last board, even when they were talking, we didn't know what they were talking about. So if somebody says, well, I'd like to do whatever item, under section so-and-so item, and then as you start talking, know that they'd like to make a comment then, still keep it to a couple of minutes. I mean, really, what you want to say, like right now, I should sit down. But that's just an idea of how to make it flow a little better, or we will be here till midnight.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna work on it. Fran, there's a comment right behind you first. Sorry, I saw the hand. And we are gonna have our agendas out sooner. So this coming, what do you think now? Monday we have the 8th, so it wouldn't happen this coming agenda. So the agenda will be done and posted by Thursday or Friday before the actual meeting takes place. That's what we're shooting for. Sorry.
Fred Clark, Crystal Terrace, Upper Mount Bethel.
Can't hear you.
Fred Clark, Crystal Terrace, Upper Mount Bethel. No one really wants to. So first, I want to say good job by all. Thank you for that. And I would ask that you take a look at Portland's agendas, because when you read one of Portland's agendas, you can actually know what they're going to talk about. For the last year that I've been reading agendas, it's like you guys are paying per letter, all right, for the description, because the agenda items, they don't say anything. So it'd be nice to have just a little bit of detail on what the agenda item is about. It doesn't have to be a lot, but Portland has pretty nice agendas. I can actually tell what they're talking about. So anyway, thank you.
Great idea. I think that's a great idea and one we should think about. And Cindy, you and I can work on that. Is that people don't look at the agenda and say, well, what the heck is that going to be about? That you have a better idea. So we will work on that. Fran, floor is yours.
Can I take a vote?
Yes.
When you have something on the agenda, and you not always know what it's all about, and sometimes well, I think it's about this, but then as you start talking about it back and forth, things come to people's minds. So sometimes they won't be able to, I want to talk about that number beforehand, because they might say, well, no, that's okay, I'll just listen. But then something comes up that kind of either makes you happy or really makes you mad.
Yeah.
Or you want to say something like, it's not good, or it's good, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a good point, and that's getting to Mark's point, is to give some time, if anybody's got a point they want to make or a question they want to ask before we vote on something, they get a chance to
because
make it.
you don't know what you're going to be thinking when it's being presented, but as it's being presented, you go, oh, this. All right, I'm going to speak.
Thank you, Fran. Anyone else? Yes, Mike.
It's Michael Onion-Pratt, 43 Summerfield Drive, Mount Bethel. Two comments. I know, Dave, you talked about reasoning, or maybe John, about giving explanations about why you're voting a certain way. And I'll just give up an example from the last board. Regarding the sewer and water authority, one of the supervisors got asked by me, could you please explain the benefit to that authority to the rest of us who don't live on 611 and we're not RPLs? And I was told, we're not here to answer questions. At the end of the meeting, I asked him, well, what the hell are you here for? When do I ask you a question? And he said, well, you can make an appointment and come see me in the office. And I thought that was a pretty unacceptable answer. But I think you addressed that where you guys said that you would try to explain at least why you're voting the way you're voting, so that we understand you know, why this is necessary for this town. So that's the first comment. The second comment is, Cindy deserved a lot more money.
That didn't come through the mic, did it?
I'll put it right.
We'll discuss that later.
Either a nice big bonus.
Yeah, I think they're all great points that everybody's made tonight. We want these meetings packed. We want people to want to come to a supervisor meeting, whether you agree with all of us, none of us. We're not going to please everyone all the time, but we are going to do our best to put Upper Mount Bethel first and foremost. And I want the days to end where people are saying, I don't want to go to one of those meetings. They're nuts. Everybody's yelling. Are we going to yell? We may yell here and there, and that's why we love our township. It's okay to yell once in a while, but when we're attacking each other and we're saying derogatory names, that's where it's got to end. And that's what we're trying to do to move forward. We want this to be a good place to come where people want to come and not feel they have to come. But that's our job up here. But we are willing to take any suggestions. Our first voting meeting of the year is this coming Monday, January 8th, 7 p.m. It'll be right here. And we'll get the agenda up beforehand, Thursday or Friday. And we'll do like Mark's ideas, David's ideas with the Robert Rules of Order, having discussion, the 2 public comment, and we're going to open up things a lot more and try to work with you, the people, and be transparent as much as we can. Ron, come on up, please.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I don't believe I need to give my name and address.
I think you do. Thank you. Your name, please. Your name.
Ron Angle, $52 million highway. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Nick as the manager. I think he stepped in at a rough time and he's done a wonderful job. I compliment the office staff. They've done an excellent job, Cindy and Diane. The road crew has done an excellent job. And I find some things here tonight somewhat interesting. I've been around a long time. Public service has been always important to me. I joined the Marine Corps when I was 17 years old. I served on Portland Council. I served on the school board on a couple of occasions. I served as a supervisor here. I served a couple of terms on county council. Yet I submitted my name this evening to be on the zoning hearing board. Not a big post to be in. But I had a funny idea that wasn't going to happen. It wouldn't matter whoever else put their name in. It wasn't going to be me. Mr. Birmingham, let me say this to you. You are an expert on municipal elections. You know how to manipulate them. You know how to tell people what they want to hear. And you know how to get people elected. Okay, you've got that now. Now you've got a township to run. And it's not a simple thing. I know in the case of Mr. Albert, he has prior experience on the school board, and I'm sure he's going to add some things to it. But again, you have a big job in front of you. What you have sold the people, most of the people out here as a matter of fact, what you've sold them, Mr. Birmingham, is vote for my people, vote for me, I'll be chairman again, we're going to return the government to the people, we're going to stop River Point. Well, frankly, it's past stopping River Point at this point in time. What you really need to be having somebody do is take a look at what you can do to get the most out of River Point that you can get out of it. But in the meantime, keep in mind, you have a township to run. You have one of the largest townships in the state. You have miles and miles of road. You need a couple more road employees that you don't have. I frankly feel you've got some financial problems already. You talk about Robert's Rules, I find that quite comical. I'm very familiar with Robert's Rules, and I doubt whether there's more, as I recall, than 3 people in Northampton County who are experts on Robert's rules of parliamentary procedure. If you're going to institute that, it's kind of comical because I don't know what's going to happen. It's not that simple, Robert's rules. But again, you've told the people what they wanted to hear, Mr. Birmingham. You've got your people elected now. You're off and running. You're the grand dragon again. You've got a township to run though. And let me tell you, I don't see any good things on the horizon that turn me on. We're meeting in the garage. You ought to have a new building somewhere in the process. You haven't made up your mind, where's the road crew going? Is it going to go over there? And frankly, you keep talking about the people, and you want more people to talk. That's great, but there's a township to run. And I really don't see that leadership for that township to run. And again, it's amazing how you think here, okay? And yes, you closed the door on all of those people in the past that you perceived to be the wrong people, and now you've opened the door to all the right people. These people here, Mr. Birmingham, it's only a matter of time, and yes, I've been around a long time. These people will turn on you, both of you and Derek. They will turn on you in the end because you will not be able to deliver to them what you promised to them, because you're not going to be able to stop those things you're going to stop or control what you're going to stop. Thank you for the opportunity to address you. Have a good evening.
Ron, by you saying that to me, I think that's one of the best compliments I ever got, because I am no grand dragon or whatever. It's my turn.
You said you're returning it to the people who can all participate.
I let you speak, now you have to let me
You're
speak.
going to let me speak after. Go ahead.
You've got up to 4 minutes, so.
Okay.
Now,
There you go.
let me,
You're off to the people. This is the people's government, but I'm listening.
Let me-
5 minutes, because I may have a different point of view than he has.
so Ron is coming up here to try and cause a havoc
I'm not causing
at the
anything.
end of the meeting, and all I want to say is I didn't manipulate anything. All I did was talk to
Well, you
people,
get people elected on
work
both
with
ends,
people,
on both
and
sides.
ask people what they really wanted out of the
What
township.
you really want.
Now, I've never said there's anything we can do about stopping River Point. We know we can't stop it. We've already talked about that. I've talked about that to the people. Ron, you never called me. The only time you called me is when you wanted me to consider you for the zoning hearing board position.
And I knew you.
So I know all the motivations. But it is a wonderful 2024. I look forward to working with the people. We're here to do the best we can. And I think the people have spoken in the last 2 elections on what they have wanted. So now it's our time to deliver. So thank you, Ron.
And let's see whether you can deliver.
Okay, well, I like the challenge. Okay, anyone else public comment? All right, well, you got your excitement for tonight, how about that? Anything else from the supervisors? Okay, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Quick question before you adjourn.
Yes, sir.
About practice on Facebook. I have 3 choices: unpublish, delete, or let the video ride. What are you thinking?
What do you guys want to do with our meetings?
I think up to as long as we
I know your practice has been not to post it. I don't know if that's
Yeah, let it be
particular.
posted.
Yeah, let it post.
All right, well then we'll just, okay.
Does it give you an option, 30 days?
Well, I can unpublish it, and then if you elect to make it live, you could always do that. Yeah, I could also delete it if you never seen it again.
No, I
But
let it run if we're all agreeing.
Yeah, I have no problem.
I didn't know if it was, I didn't know if there was something official about that.
No, I don't think so. I think at least we can talk about it. Once the meeting minutes get passed, I think that becomes the official record of the meeting, so maybe we let the Facebook Live run until the meeting minutes get passed.
Or they'll be second guessing.
Yeah. But we can talk, Cindy, maybe if you can put that on the agenda for the 8th, please. Live stream and meeting minutes. But yes, if you can keep it up for now,
Okay.
please, that'd be great. Any other public comments? Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.